So the next thing we got to talk about is John Mara speaking out to the media, and I love the picture of him like his eyes shut because it's like him trying to figure out
frustration.
Like he's like Helen Kellering his way through the season. Oh my gosh. So here's the quotes he gave to the media. He says, "I certainly can't justify it based on the record, but based on my observations, it's my instinct and my strong belief that we are going in the right direction. You got to take a calm, rational look at things. We did that. They're going to have to get better if we're going to move on to year 4. I'm going to have to be in a better mood this time next year than I am right now." Does somebody want to tell him? Like, am I the one to pick that up here? They're going to have to get better if we're going to move on to year 4. You're moving on to year 4. You already told you they're keeping them.
Yeah.
Like, not trying to be mean. Was that a senior moment? Like, what the hell?
You ageist.
Listen, I'm not that far off there myself at this point in my life, it feels like. But it's like, you just said, like, you're trying to validate, and you're like, I can't justify it by the record. We're going in the right direction. We'll have to get better to get a year 4. You already gave them a year 4. This is year 4 you're going into. And the direction is backwards. And listen, we're gonna do a little Herm Edwards here. You are what your record says you are. We are a 3-14 team.
We're crap.
Yeah, we are not good. We are a team with no quarterback, some overpaid players, no defensive line, an offensive line that looks like the emergency room. A no top flight corner. Like, we're missing a lot, guys. A lot.
Yeah.
For you to sit there and say that, that's just crazy. Then he says, it better not take too long because I've just about run out of patience. Okay, hold on. We're going to go camera 1 here.
Yeah, camera 1.
John Mara, listen up here. You just said, I want to keep these people, but they're on very thin ice. You just told every single coach they could possibly want to hire that they're this close to losing their job before this season even begins. Who the hell do you think is going to want to come here now?
Let's just air out all our dirty laundry.
Like, seriously, if you're going to give them the vote of confidence, you say that kind of stuff behind closed doors. You don't say that to the media. For a man who grew up in front of the media, because let's be honest, this man has been speaking to the media pretty much since been diapers since his daddy was running the team.
Yeah.
For a guy who's grown up in the media to say something like that to the media is absolutely ridiculous. It better not take too long because I've just about run out of patience. You just said point blank, they're probably not staying here long unless stuff changes quickly. This is their last chance. So if you want to come here and you want to stay here long term, probably not the best time to come.
No.
We're going to make sweeping changes if things don't change. Yeah. And I'm telling you this right now. If 3 wins isn't enough to run out of patience, what is?
2, 1, 0.
Like, had we lost that Colts game, would they be gone?
Dude, I think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
He's the most straight losses in franchise history.
Yeah, you're setting franchise records in your 100th season. How much of embarrassment would that be for the 100th season?
Yeah. Oh, we've played football 100 years, and here's our worst season in 100 years.
Yeah. So he was asked by the media after that about how much patience was left specifically, which I got a ballsy question whoever asked it, by the way. But he says, I understand the question, but I'm not going to put any kind of time limit on it. But I certainly understand where you're going with that. You just said to the public, I don't know how long they're going to be here.
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me?
You're kidding me, man.
You can't even sit there and tell the media, which in turn is you telling the fans, I'm going to keep these guys for the year. They get one last shot. You didn't even say that.
Rather die.
You just said, I don't know how much longer they're staying here. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Whoopsie.
Like, are you freaking kidding me? Absolutely ridiculous. Now, last year, John Mara said a similar statement that he needed to see things go in a more positive direction this year. And he was reminded of that, like I said. And he said, again, if we're standing here, if I'm standing here a year from now and we're having the same conversation, I'll take the heat for it. But we still believe that it's the right decision going forward. Take the heat for it. First off, John, what ramifications do you have? Listen, you messed up. You're losing your job as the owner.
Yeah. Right.
Like, what ramifications are there? Now you have to light your cigars with $20 bills instead of hundreds. I mean, like, what is the ramifications here?
Yeah,
I have to go down to the $1,000 bottle of tequila. Like, what is the ramifications here? I don't get this. Like, there's nothing bad that can happen to John Mara in this situation. Extremely rich, making money, stupidly loyal fan base, including us too.
Yeah.
There are no ramifications for this man, except one thing. If Roger Goodell pulls a Pete Rozelle and gives him a George Young and says, "You got to straighten this out. This is an embarrassment. The biggest market in the entire league here." But if he hasn't done it for the Jets, he's not going to do it for the Giants. He's going to have to get 2 George Youngs. Like, it's just bad, guys. It's bad. Let's see. Trying to get back here to comments where we're at there. Let's see here.
Cool.
Mike says trade Dable and pick to Browns for Stefanski. I don't know if Stefanski is the answer here, really, guys. I mean, the Browns aren't doing that good. They're ahead of us. One of the 2 teams that are ahead of us. So we got, let's see here. Ezekiel, dude, the direction they're going has been backwards. Like, WTF is he on? LOL. Exactly. Jay Ferries, you think the Giants cheap out on coaching and staff? Why guys don't develop? Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it boils down to. If you're not developing players and you're not spending money on quality people, then yeah, it's a problem. And it's been a problem for a while. And then Miz says, I terrified Shane gonna reach or get fleeced in draft and spend stupidly in free agency now that Mara threatened them. Yeah, Miz, you're 100% right. Like I said, I'm worried he's gonna go really, really reckless, like we've seen Gettleman do in the past, like we've seen Jerry Reese do in the past. You put an ultimatum on there. Quickest way to turn the franchise around in the short term is to spend like crazy in free agency and hope it works. But we all know how often that actually works. It doesn't work very often. And when it does, it doesn't work for long. Chief says, interesting. A beat writer asked if keeping them was money related. It's got to be. I don't see what else it could be. I really don't. Ezekiel says, all of his statements conflict with each other. LOL. Yes. Miz says, he said that Beckme wanted to satisfy the fans, us about bringing them back. Shake my head. One more time, man. I feel like I'm missing something there. But he definitely didn't satisfy the fans, that's for sure. Deb says Wellington must be rolling over in his grave. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. He didn't have great times either. Obviously, those who were around in the 70s can tell you, obviously, that the 70s were a poop show, to put it nicely. And that's why we had the whole George Young taking over there. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. Jay says they don't want to back up the truck for Ben Johnson or anyone worth a poop. Just saying, in my humble opinion. No, yeah, they need to. Jay says $18 million for Harbaugh and Sean Payton. Those teams turned around fast. Just saying, yeah. And that's what I've been saying for years. There is no salary cap on coaches. So if you had the option to get a top flight coach in here, a top flight coach that you know is like he's got a track record of turning teams around, you do it. Point blank. Point blank, you do it. If I was a Giants, I would have fired Dable and Shane. I would have called up Mike Vrabel immediately. Who do you want to be your GM? How much do you want? Point blank, would have done it. If we're willing to spend $40 million a year on Daniel Jones, you tell me it's not worth spending 20 on a good coach? You got to consider that. You got to consider that. Jay says they always say that I understand the question when someone gives them a tough question they want to dodge. Sometimes it's also just waiting a second to develop an answer. That's actually a thing that people will train you in public speaking to repeat the question or give a statement like that just to buy you the time to mentally process the question to think of a good answer. So that's actually a technique that they'll give you in public speaking classes and all. So solving the race problem. The Giants are 9-25 without Kenny Galladay. Do you do what you want with that information? Or more than that, most years we didn't have Kenny Galladay. Got to go before Kenny too. Jay says we have always had the lowest paid coach in the league for 10 years or more. Yeah, like I said, it's a shame. It really is an absolute shame that this is what the Giants have come down to, guys.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.